Welcome back. Entertainment news now. The Urbanite Theater in downtown Sarasota is now in the middle of their newest production called INCOGNITO. It explores the world of human personalities and takes audiences on a journey through neuroscience. John's with one of the actors, Brendan Ragan. Guys, take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ray. I absolutely loved the show.
Thank you.
It's the first show of your new season,
That's
which
correct.
goes on during the summer.
Yes, our 5th season. We start right now in June, and we run year-round. So we'll be playing all the way up until April of next year.
There you go. So I would say when you come to the show, be prepared to be intellectually stimulated as well as emotionally stimulated.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
kind of like intellectual in the way, like in Ionesco or a Sard or something like that, but it still has deep emotional content.
Yeah, some people are calling Nick Payne the Tom Stoppard of this generation.
Good.
So
Yep.
a wordy playwright can talk about big ideas, but do it in a very simple way, and that's all through exploring relationships.
Can you simply describe this show?
I can try.
Give it a shot.
It's a play about 3 different storylines. 2 of them are based on real things that happened in history. One is the theft of Albert Einstein's brain.
True story.
Really happened. The man who was doing the autopsy on Albert Einstein's brain stole it, so we follow his life.
And kept it under a beer cooler.
And kept it in Tupperware sometimes. In the trunk of his car, and he drove around the country with it, and he gave it away to friends, and I mean, little pieces of it.
So that's one storyline.
So that's one of the storylines. Another one of the storylines is about a man named Henry, who very famously had his 2 hippocampi, if you will, removed because he was having seizures, and they thought that this was a good way to treat it. He was in his 20s when this happened. Well, something very unique happened to Henry, and that was it more or less treated his seizures, but it also removed his ability to have any short or long-term memory.
So he lived totally in the present.
So he lived always in the present. He was still very smart. He was still very kind. He had all of his intelligence. He just couldn't form new memories.
But he remembered that he loved.
Yes.
He loved it one time.
He remembered his wife, certainly.
And the third story?
The third story is about a present-day neuroscientist and her exploration of a new relationship. And that's the only one that's not based on a true story, but Nick Payne, the playwright, has woven it into these other 2. So all 3 stories are connected in some way, and that's the great surprise, is that you get to find out how those very different stories are all connected.
And all of those 3 stories are acted, and I guess, what are there, 20-some roles? 40?
There's 20 roles.
20 roles are acted by 4 people.
4 people, so we all play 4, 5, 6 parts each.
It's incredible.
And yeah, it's a lot of dialect work for us, because we're all playing people from all over the country and world.
And I noticed you change postures and cadences and things, and so you always kept the characters very clear, and it was very easy for the audience
the director
to understand
said something very early on, which I think was quite smart. He said, I want someone, even if we muted the performance and we turned the sound off, someone who couldn't hear anything would still know that there are different characters on stage.
Good.
So that's where a lot of the physicality is coming from.
All 3 of those stories interact on stage at one time and kind of give you an, I guess, probe whether or not our reality is made up of just the tissue and electrical firings in our brain, or whether it's much, much more than that.
Right. I think it's a really nice investigation of the brain, which can make sense of very different pieces of data and string it together and make a story. So it's got some profound ideas. But the great thing about the story, I have to say this, is that you don't have to love science to love this show.
That is very true. That is very true. Urbanite Theater, challenging our mind and our emotions. Thank you, sir. How long does it run?
It runs until July 8th.